Jaguar, baby! Come here! Let's go, give me a flipper!
All right. Welcome to the show.
I love that new intro.
Coming to you live, or recorded from Buffalo Wild Wings.
Recorded live.
Recorded live, never dead. All right, so this week we will go over weeks 5, 6, and 7 of SETX FFL 4 Fall League.
It's been eventful. It's been fun the last.
It has.
Has it been eventful the last 3 weeks, especially the end of week 5?
Been a lot going on.
Let's talk about it.
A lot. All right, well, we'll just go ahead and hop on in here to week 5, and I'll give you all a quick rundown of the games where not a whole lot happened and a more in-depth look at the games that were more exciting. So the 10 a.m. game on week 5, which was the 28th of October, so Expendables beat the Squad handily, 46-22. And then in the 11 a.m. game, the Herd showed up with the Good Herd, and it was a game against the Showstoppers, very close game, back and forth the entire time. The Herd took the lead late, 33-32. Actually, I'm sorry, they took the lead by 9 points late, so
yes.
That last touchdown didn't really mean a whole lot, but at the end of the game, the score ended up being 33-32. Side note on that game, Jacob Diltz was not there, so Ricky Tootie Jackson played quarterback for the Showstoppers, and it was a very good game.
And that's the first time the Herd has ever beat Tootie in flag football. It happened to be when he was quarterback in the Showstoppers. And I'll take every win we can get. I don't care what it looks like.
And the first time in a good while that we have defeated the Showstoppers.
Yes.
So that was a really fun game to play in.
I was proud of that win.
I thought our team played really well, and I thought the Showstoppers
played well too. We had a few good picks. James Morrison had a monster game, both sides of the field, and that was the big difference, I think.
James Morrison was definitely the difference in that game.
Yeah.
The next game of the day was a 12 p.m. game. Storm beat Nightmare easily, 36-8. And then the 1 p.m. game was also a blowout. 409 Boys beat Hitmen 39-8. 409 Boys look really good this year, by the way.
Yeah, they're very good. And then it happened.
And then it happened, the 2 p.m. game. I wasn't actually there for that game, so go ahead, take it away.
This was a back-and-forth game. The Storm, they're one of those up-and-coming teams that's just making headway. They're better earlier than most teams are when they start out. So that's what's fun about it. Yes. The Jack Boys, I don't know, they showed up. They showed up with, I think they started out the game with like 5 or 6 people. I don't know. They wandered out of the cars and got onto the field eventually after the kickoff. Storm scores, Jack Boys score, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Midway through the second half, the Storm scores and takes a lead, and the Jack Boys start arguing with each other. 2 players in particular. If we want to name them, I don't care. I'm not even care about naming who's got an argument. Doesn't matter anymore. But 2 of the players on the Jack Boys get in a fist fight with each other. So the referees, Sean and Walt, and the board members that were there say, all right, get off the field. They get off the field. And
At what point in the game was this?
This was about 10 minutes to go, about 11 minutes to go in the game. About 11 minutes left in the game. Okay. And the Storm had just scored to take the lead. So they get off the field, we get them out of there. No fighting, you're done. All right, let's continue the game. We're about to continue the game, and the 2 players decide to get back out of the vehicles and get on close to the field and start fighting again. So we decide, since, we don't want you fighting here, you've done it, we told you once to get out, you didn't leave, you fought, game's over. It's a forfeit loss.
Yeah,
and that's where the bone of contention comes from.
Yes, and just to be clear on this, the reason it's a forfeit loss is because it's not because the Storm was winning at that point in the game, it's because the game had to be stopped and ended because of the actions of one particular team, 2 players on one particular team. And, we had to stop the game for the safety of the players, for the good of the league, for what we're trying to do out there. So the Storm would have received the win if they were losing by 50 points.
If they were losing the game, it would still be a forfeit loss by the Jack Boys.
So that is the logic behind that. The board actually had a vote on it to make it either a forfeit or a loss. The board decided the right thing to do was to make it a forfeit, and I'd stand behind my board. And upon further reflection, I think it was the correct decision. I might have more on that later.
Yes. The 2 players that were the cause of the issue were also suspended from the league for the rest of this season.
Correct. And the Jack Boys, while they did receive a forfeit, which in our league means you're probably not going to make the playoffs unless other teams have forfeits, they're not kicked out of the league, and they're welcome to come play the remainder of their games. So that's kind of the end of that situation.
And that's just where it should end. I mean, that should be it. It's no explanation should be. You were there when it happened. You saw what happened. That's the end. That should be the end of that.
All right. So now to week 6, which was on the 4th of November. Remember the 4th of November, that day that the Hitmen beat the Expendables 36-14 in the 10 a.m. game.
That happened.
Then the Nightmare played the Storm again in an 11 a.m. slot. Storm beat them 36-0. We had a pretty good game, I guess. At 12 p.m., the Jack Boys came and played the Hitmen. Jack Boys won 50-42. Was that actually a close game?
Yes.
Was that as close as the score?
Yeah, it was a back and forth game. I think the Jack Boys scored late to take the lead and win. I think so. I can't remember, but that was just a back and forth game. But a lot of points. Look at that.
The
Almost
Hitmen
100
are
points.
athletic. The Hitmen are really athletic,
Very
and
good.
when their quarterback's on, they're really hard to beat. Defensively, I don't think they put up the best effort all the time, but they're an athletic group of people. In the 1 p.m. game, the Herd fell to 409 Boys 33-20. Once again, I was not there. I was in New Orleans having delicious food and copious amounts of beverage of all sorts.
And we were playing bad defense and bad offense.
Bad defense and bad offense. That usually leads to a W, right?
Well, you know how we like to play. But no, they put it on us. They got us. We had a few turnovers. Our quarterback, Matt Wilson, got injured, pulled his hamstring, which looks very painful. And he's
got about a 1 foot by 1 foot bruise.
Yeah. And then we threw a couple interceptions late, which ended our chance of coming back. So we lost that game.
Well, did we play hard?
Of course, we always play hard.
Yeah, we played hard. All right. 2 p.m. game, the Showstoppers beat Squad 44-12. Doesn't seem like that was much of a contest.
Yeah, Showstoppers had everything rolling. Ed Dilt's there and just rolled up and down the field. Wasn't aesthetically pleasing.
Well, he's a difference maker. Jacob Diltz is a big difference maker for them, and for me.
He does make your difference.
He makes my difference. All right, and then last week's games. Week 11.
Week 7.
I'm sorry. Week 7.
On 11-11.
11-11 of 18. In the 10 a.m. game, Expendables beat the Squad 30-15. Do you remember anything about that game that was especially notable?
David Dixon had a one-handed catch in the end zone for a
Good
touchdown.
Lord,
That was
I saw
fantastic.
That. It was unbelievable.
But that's about all I remember from that game. Expendables just basically they just went up and down the field.
That catch he had that was one-handed, I think it was left-handed.
Was it on the broken finger hand?
Somehow I think it was.
It might have been. Who knows? We'll say it was.
You know what?
Yeah.
For the sake of entertainment.
One-handed broken finger catch.
A one-handed catch with a hand that has a finger that's just barely attached.
The lace is stuck on the bone.
Yeah, that's how he caught it. The 11 a.m. game, the Herd beat Nightmare with a crafty use of people who can't throw as playing quarterback, 39-14. The 12 p.m. game, Jack Boys beat the Squad 45-32. Anything notable there?
It's just Jack Boys doing what they do, going up and down the field scoring. And Squad put up some points in that game. They were actually down, I think it was like 28-0 at the half, and the Squad started coming back and made it a game, and then the Jack Boys just held on late. Not a lot of effort by the Jack Boys in the second half on defense. You can probably see that by the film. But, it is what it is.
Well, and then the 1 p.m. game looks to be a pretty close match. Showstoppers beat the 409 Boys 34-33. Was that as close as
the
it seems?
409 Boys went for 2 to win the game at the end and did not get it. And the Showstoppers got the win. It was an intense game back and forth. Those are the top 2 teams, ranking-wise, and they showed it. That was a back-and-forth game. It was fun to watch. There were a few turnovers in that game that were just you don't expect to see from those 2 teams, but they happened, and it came down to a 2-point conversion.
Was Jacob Diltz there?
Yes, he was.
Man, he's a difference maker.
Difference maker. TDM.
You know, but the 409 boys with Bruce Reyes and J.C. Doucette playing that dual quarterback role are really hard to stop.
Yeah.
They do that really well.
Yeah,
Like
as long as they keep within themselves, don't try to do too much. They they get a little frustrated when mistakes start happening back there.
I
so.
saw one bad interception that was thrown in that game. Other than that, I mean, it looked like a pretty good game.
Yeah.
But and then the very last game of Week 7 was the Hitmen played the Storm, defeated the Storm 40-12.
Yeah.
I guess that was not a very competitive contest.
Storm did not have their quarterback, and they were just trying to make things happen, and it wasn't happening, and took a loss, a pretty convincing loss, but so I think that was not indicative of how the Storm have been playing this season. But when you don't have a quarterback, it's almost impossible to win.
Storm quarterback Chase Boudreaux is definitely a key player for their team. And if you'll notice my
especially when
pauses,
he's not there, he's a key player as well.
If you'll notice my pauses and little things I'm saying during this podcast, it's because I'm whispering tenderly to the waitress that I don't want any more beverage.
The waitress, who her name is also Cody.
Her name is Cody, but it's spelled with an I.
So is yours.
We have similar hair, though.
Yours is spelled with a C-O-D-I-E.
I know, but hers is only an I. My name is actually spelled K-O-T-I-E.
Oh, God.
Yep. But that's kind of the rundown for the last 3 weeks. Troy, I know you're scarfing down an amount of spicy wing macaroni.
Uh-huh.
But do you have anything else to add for the last 3 weeks?
No, I think we've the rankings are starting to settle down for the playoffs. We got 2 weeks left to the playoffs, and it looks like that 5-6 seed is between 3 teams, and it's going to be tough to see who gets in that last spot. But I think the last few weeks are going to, thin the herd, to say.
The herd only gets larger.
Yeah.
It doesn't get thinner.
Yeah. But
as a team, we have gained so much weight.
Yeah. There are 3 teams I think have solidified their spots. The 409 boys, the Showstoppers.
The Showstoppers are good.
The Showstoppers of 409 boys and the Storm, I think, are solidly in the playoffs.
They're going to be in.
Those last 4, 5, 6, or there are 4 teams hitting for those 4, 5, 6 spots. So
I think the Hitmen are the closest to having it locked down. And then you have the Squad, the Herd, and the Expendables all kind of fighting for that last.
They're all 3 and 5 with
spots.
2 games to go and 2 spots to fill.
And
so
since they've each beaten one another, it'll probably come down to points scored, or it'll come down
it depends on the record. I mean,
to who's the tiredest. Or if you have some people, it'll just come down to who I like the most. Since
exactly.
That's how I do
That's
things.
how we run things. We pick who we like and who we want to win.
If you didn't detect an amount of me being facetious in that statement, first look up the word facetious and then understand that I didn't mean it.
First, find a dictionary.
Well, you can Google it. It'll come up
First,
with a
find a
definition.
Google.
Use your cellular mobile telephone and look up facetious, F-A-C-E-T-I-O-U-S, and you'll know that I was not serious when I said it's only who I like that wins. I'm going to be very clear from now on.
Because if that was the case, the Herd would win every year.
I don't even like them most of the time. No. Who would win every year on this list?
The Expendables.
Yes.
You like the Expendables?
I would prefer the Expendables to win every single time. They bitch the lest.
Lest you bitch.
Lest we forget that the Expendables bitch the least. And they are the easiest team to deal with. They always show up with about 20 people. They always pay their money on PayPal, which is wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah. You know what? Go Expendables.
If I were to choose a team other than my team, I would probably go with just like a team that I say, I like them and I want them to win. I don't know.
The Storm?
The Storm.
Excellent segue.
The Storm.
We'll have more about the Storm here in segment 2.
I was trying to come up with an old team that doesn't play anymore.
Showstoppers.
They play. Like an old team that doesn't play.
Oh, Untouchables.
So
Butter. Butter was a team that they started from the Untouchables.
What was
Put-togethers.
I don't know. This is
Team
bad.
Jason.
This is a bad way to end this segment. We're not
Team Jason.
We're not going well.
That team that never had a name.
Or whatever.
The War Pigs.
Oh, what was the team that Phil was on?
Oh, Team Ramrod.
Ramrod.
And they were the Warriors for a
That's
while.
what it was, yeah. War Pigs.
Phil Spade has had the worst flag football teams ever.
Man, he's on the herd now.
No. BMS Goats were the worst.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
And then it became the BMS Goat.
They were just
one
goat,
guy.
Just one guy.
He would show up in his uniform, though. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll stick around for segment 2, where we will have a very special guest from the Storm, Blake Dugas, who is currently scarfing down some nachos, so he'll have plenty of gastrointestinal stuff happening.
I may just let him hold this microphone and talk while I eat.
All right, stick around. Welcome back.
Extra wet.
We're here with a special guest, Blake Dugas, the team captain of the Storm. The Storm is currently at 5-3, number 3 in the standings. Brand new team, doing great. They're on a roll. He's on a roll here at Buffalo Wild Wings. Ordered his chicken wings, boneless and extra wet, and he kind of winked at the waitress when he said extra wet.
And he's rolling with the boneless.
He's rolling with the boneless. So, poor guy's turning red right now. So, Blake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I've never been better in my entire life than right now.
It's good.
Don't believe what he said.
This is the top of the hill. From everything from here, it's all
downhill until today. It's all downhill after.
Okay, so I'm sort of at the ledge of a downhill slope that's on the edge of civilization. Anyway, before we get into my Marianas Trench of a life, you're the captain of the Storm, right?
Correct.
Okay, how did you start the team? Like, what was your how did you guys start?
Well, last year we were the Pirates, and a lot of us just play on Sundays anyways, just pick up games, and we had one guy want to do an alumni team, all guys from Vider, and we kind of just started leaning towards the flag league instead. A lot more fun, a lot less expensive. And so we had the Pirates last year, and then about 4 of us decided we wanted to play again. So I had to pretty much build a whole new team, and we just kind of reached out to guys we knew, and then guys we knew, and just threw a team together.
So friends of friends, as Facebook would say.
Pretty much, yeah.
People that could view your profile.
Right.
Perfect. All right, so, like, do you have, like, an assistant team captain, somebody that helps you?
Aaron Ward is my go-to guy. He's always there when you need him.
I know that guy.
Also board member.
Yeah, board member Aaron Ward. That's what we call him.
These podcasts are the best when you yell, not from the microphone, Troy.
That's why I'm yelling into the microphone.
They always sound really great that way. So Aaron Ward's your go-to guy. Who is the most important person on your team?
Chase Boudreaux. We cannot win a game without him.
Have you guys won a game without him?
No, we have not.
Okay. All right. What makes Chase your guy?
I mean, he's got experience in flag leagues. He's played a while. He's old, so he knows what he's doing.
How old is he?
I believe. I don't even know. I'm not going to guess.
What position does he play?
He plays quarterback.
But is he older or younger than 30?
I believe he's right there, somewhere either like really high 20s or low 30s. He's older than me. I'm 22. So
you're 22?
Yes.
Everyone is older than you.
Yeah.
Okay, look, you're sitting here with a couple of people who are combined age of 69, and it's 69.
That's some quick math.
Troy looked at me like I couldn't do math.
I was adding in my head, and that was going to take a long time, so I just stopped.
And if you count just years lived, I mean, it's 69 literally, but I've lived. I got some. These tires don't have all the tread on them. Okay,
right.
So I'm more like a 42-year-old man. Troy might be 60.
I agree. My knee. Yeah. Yes. Words.
Okay, so what is you guys? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to count the forfeit win against the Jack Boys. So excluding that win.
Well, we were up 32-28
I understand.
when it went down.
For the purpose of this question, exclude that game.
Right.
What is you guys' best game that you've played? Doesn't even have to be a win, but what is the best game y'all played?
I think, honestly, we felt the best playing against the Herd. We didn't win by much, but it was the first time we really all played together as a team. Everybody actually showed up, and we won, and we did good.
You guys kind of took off after that day too, right?
Yeah, we did pretty good.
Okay, well, good. All right. So do you guys have a speed guy on your team?
Well, yeah, I mean, really, a lot of guys are fast, but Kyle Brown, he's pretty quick. He's in the slot. And then we got Brandon Pofus. He's our swing. I don't know, he just makes everybody miss. I don't know how he does it.
All right. So what is the most challenging thing you've had to do as a team captain, both of the Pirates and of the Storm?
Telling people they can't play because either they suck or they never show up.
How is that?
First of all, you're going to find that telling people to show up to play is going to be the hardest part eventually. So there you go.
You have 15 years before you have 10 years before that's going to be your problem. But all right, so what's, I don't want any names or anything, but give me an example of telling somebody they can't play.
Well, I don't ever actually tell them. I just kind of stick them on the sideline till they quit or stop talking to me, and then I kick them out of our group chat.
Okay, so have you seen Office Space?
I have not.
Okay, well,
You're going to have to leave this table now after saying that.
So all of you kids out there that have seen Office Space, Blake uses the Milton Wadhams way of kicking people off the team. He just quits kind of communicating with them, and they fall off. Okay.
They still receive a paycheck, though.
So the person, is there more than one person that we're talking about, or like several?
Last year is about 3, and then this year is probably 1 or 2.
Do they always think that they are really good?
Yes, that's crazy. How do you know that? But, yeah, they're always the best guy on the field. They think they should play both ways, and they are absolute trash.
And are they always very vocal?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've been...
Cody, stop looking at me.
No, you're actually good at football.
He's just really vocal.
I just know that over the years that people that suck tend to think they're really good, and they're really loud about being good.
Right. And, I mean, I'm no athlete. I mean, I'm 265 pounds, and if you're not better than me, you can't be on my team. That's pretty much how it goes.
That's pretty much how I feel, except you have to be at least 3 players better than me because I'm not 265, but I'm much slower than you are, and I have a lot less hair. So there you go.
Yeah, it just grows everywhere.
Did you? Great head of hair on Blake
Thank
Dugas.
you. This is my hat hair. Been wearing a hat all day.
This is my styled hair. You know, you kind of have good hair too.
Put some gel in it and pull it forward. You can look like the golf Meet the Robinsons. You know what I'm talking about?
I look like Julius Caesar if I did that. No, Julius Caesar.
Jewish Caesar?
Jewish Caesar's not a thing. Anyway.
Could be. You never know.
You know, side note. Last night, I got real bored and I was sitting in my house, and I thought, I'm really bald. So I started taking pictures of the top of my head with my cell phone. I mean, look at that. Look at all that. That's
the
bald.
perfect before picture for a Rogaine ad.
Is it not? And I thought that same thing, and I thought about getting Rogaine, then I got drunk and fell asleep. That was my night.
Is that why the video's not up yet?
Yes.
That's another thing that's hard about being a captain is somebody's always asking you every 10 minutes when the video is going to be up, like I'm supposed to know.
We'll have people that'll ask as soon as the game's over, why is it not up?
Some guy last week wanted us to play the game, have the games live on like YouTube or Facebook or something.
Yeah.
Like, look, this is a pay-to-play Southeast Texas flag football league. I don't have that kind of capability. Despite what people think, we're not funded by George Soros. We're not part of the liberal agenda or whatever people are saying these days. You know, just trying to play flag football, guys. Just trying to have a good time. But
we are funded by Big Tobacco, though.
Yep.
We're not funded by Big Tobacco yet. But Philip Morris, if you're out there, Camel, Virginia Slims,
I'll smoke a cigarette.
I will smoke a cigarette while playing the game at Bugle Boy Loose Tobacco.
But not on the field, not on the campus. It's a smoke-free, tobacco-free campus.
My guys that smoke call them stamina sticks.
Stamina sticks. I like that. Oh, I do. Anyway, back to football.
Yep.
Okay, so you played high school football, right, Blake?
Yeah, I was on the team.
And a lot of college football, right?
Never.
Okay, me either. What position did you play in high school?
Freshman year, I started out as a cornerback and a running back, and I slowly gained weight and made my way to lineman, offense and defense.
What did you like the most?
I like defensive line. I just like not really having any responsibilities, just going and getting the ball.
So you like to be irresponsible, is that what I'm hearing? Now
I
listen,
like
when
to
you
be-
run for office in a few years, this is the clip that you're going to use.
Man, I don't know
Only
what to say.
I don't like responsibilities.
I like being my own boss.
Okay.
Word it like that.
All right. Let's see.
That's also why I could never play on someone else's team.
Okay. Troy, do you have any other storm-related questions? TikTok, you're on my clock.
Yes, I left my notes at home. I was so anxious to get here. No, you hit all the kind of the general captain questions we normally go with.
Well, I have some would-you-rather questions that I'm going to hit here in a minute.
Would you rather?
Oh, yeah.
Those are always good.
Then we're going to play spin the
with
bottle.
being a young team and having some success this early in your tenure in the league, are you going to try to build? Are you going to try to keep the same team, or are you going to try to build your team to get even better guys, or are you thinking you're going to try to build around a quarterback, or what are your plans for the future? With already having some success, what are your plans for the future?
Well, sorry. For starters, we definitely got to keep chasing around for a little while until we can find somebody equally or better until he's ready to retire. But we definitely want to build a little bit, but we don't want to get away from just adding random people. We want to stick with guys we know, and as long as they're good, we'll take them. We got a few guys we're looking at for next season. They're playing college ball this year. So
some college boys, huh?
It's going to take a little bit of a transition going from tackle to flag, but, I'm used to losing for a whole first half of the season, and then so I can manage.
Anything else, Troy? Oh, good chime in. Yes. All right, Blake. Now for the important part of this interview.
Alrighty.
Would you rather never eat meat again or never play/watch football of any kind again?
That's a good question because I really like football and food, and I mainly just eat meat, and Troy's taking my wings now, so I'm going to have to.
His wings have a label on them that say X wet, which means
X-wet.
extra wet. He likes extra wet wings. So what's it going to be, Blake? Football or meat?
Football or meat.
There are always alternatives to meat.
But I'm picky eater. But I don't think I could go without football, to be honest. I really love football, and I would give up meat for football.
You would give up meat forever for football forever?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Here's the next question. At the flag football field,
All right.
would you rather live in the bathroom or the press box or the little hut under the press box?
I got to go with the press box because it's got an AC unit.
Okay, good call.
And
windows. Yes, that's pretty good. I was going to say the concession stand, but there's food in there that's apparently worth a lot of money. But you can't. I wasn't going to give you that one.
Yeah, that'd be too easy.
All right. Would you rather have your finger broken like David Dixon's finger or have your ankle caught in a bear trap?
I got to go with a broken finger on that one.
Broken finger. Troy, we go with the bear trap.
I can still play flag football with a broken finger. I can't run with a.
Your ankle will heal. That finger will never heal.
Yeah,
you'll
you'll
not break your leg with that bear trap. I can just pry it apart.
Well,
I've
never stepped in a bear trap.
I've said it once and I'll say it again. David Dixon's typing speed will never be the same since the injury that occurred.
And he'll never be able to point at people the same either.
He'll never be able to play piano the same. He'll never be able to sew the same.
To point like this, to point like
He'll never be able to conduct the orchestra the same, or wield a scalpel whilst conducting brain surgery the same.
All very important things in flag football.
Yes, very important things. All right. Would you rather pull a flag that's been dipped in human blood or dipped in human bile? Like vomit or blood?
Ooh. Well, occasionally, if it's cold outside, I start wearing them again.
Okay, then it's not a grossness. It's which one's easier to pull, blood or bile?
I don't know. Can you? I'm
Fresh
gonna go.
blood.
I'm gonna go with. Are there STDs in the blood?
That is unknown. We got the blood from a homeless.
I'm gonna go with. Well, where's the vomit from?
Homeless. Same guy. He threw up and bled on. He bled on one flag and he barfed on the other.
The blood will clot a lot faster than the bile.
I'll probably give somebody a touchdown on that one.
So the third choice there. All right, last question. If you were stuck on a desert island and you only had one person to be stuck on the desert island with, and it had to be either Troy or me, who would it be?
I'm gonna go with Cody. Nothing, well, yeah, I guess it is something against Troy.
Yes.
I just, because I feel like if I wasn't cutting down trees or making a fort fast enough, I'd be getting yelled at constantly.
Damn right. Who's going to cut down the tree? Someone has to teach someone how to do it. I'm not going to do it.
I'm very patient.
Cody would just figure out a way to make alcohol out of a coconut and we'd have a good time.
we figure out a way to get drunk and we have a good time.
I would just be mad the whole time. Just mad. For no reason mad.
Well, Blake, I don't have anything else to ask you. Is there anything else you want to say? Any shout-outs?
Shout out to the Storm. I mean, 409 boys, we'll see you on the championship. We're going to come with a vengeance, I guess that's the word. Yep.
Vengeance.
Vengeance. It's all the same, right? I don't know. Got that Vita education going. But yeah, we're coming for the 409 boys. We want to win back. We play with a brand new team, no quarterback that week, so I think we could take them. But we got to start with the showstoppers next week.
Well, all right. I'll have to get J.C. Doucette on the show to opine on his team. Troy, last word.
The Storm. Watch the Fury.
Jesus. Go ahead, Blake.
We're taking the league by storm.
Oh, very good. Well,
that was my little comment was as a past Storm team that I played on.
Nobody
that was our slogan or whatever written on our jerseys. Watch the Fury.
You guys had jerseys that looked like they were made by a 5-year-old.
They were. They were the cool San Diego Chargers colors.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, Blake, I think you're doing a great job as your team captain. I think you're doing a really great job as a board member, so I appreciate you being on the show. And
glad to be here.
I'll see you Sunday, unless you drop by my house at some point randomly, but hopefully just Sunday.
I will not see you Sunday.
All right, we'll stick around for maybe one more segment. And
the mysterious third segment.
It may or may not happen, but I'm going to give it a go, and if it sounds okay, I'll include it.
Yeah, if it does, if you don't hear it, that means it did happen, but we did not put it on here.
Yes. Thank you. All right, welcome back. You know, what we're about to describe to you, I'm not going to show you the video of it. There is a video. However, I don't feel like it's fair to the people in the video who weren't exactly involved in the fighting and, you know, the stuff that was going on. So I'm not going to show the video. If you ever want to see it, if you want to find me somewhere, I'll show it to you in private, personally, but I don't think it's fair to really put it on the internet. But, you know, I thought that to re-emphasize the point of why we can't tolerate violence in our league, I would at least describe what happened in the previous league we played in. And if you want to read my accompanying blog to this, you can. It's on the website. It's if you just go to Uncensored. In fact, I'll put a link in the YouTube video thing for it. You can read it, and it's basically the story of how SETX FFL kind of got its start, because we didn't like what was going on in the place that we played. So, Troy, anything else before I go and describe this?
No, I think it's. It was a bad look for the entire league that we were playing in at that point, because nothing really ever came from it. For that league, it's nothing. There's nothing, no punishment at all, basically. But it was the impetus for starting a new league. We had already kind of had it in the back of our head that we were thinking about doing something, but this was the jumping off point that just said, hey, this needs to change. The way things run around here need to change.
Right. And now let me rewind a bit and talk about how we played before. There was a league at the municipal complex in Beaumont. We played in a league off of Sarah Street in Beaumont at the LL Milton YMCA.
Yep.
It was run by Kenny Pickens. Kenny's a nice man. Kenny had a league for many years.
Kenny's a SETX FFL Hall of Famer, first class inductee.
He's a nice man. However, after you do something for a long time, you get kind of distracted and complacent. Kenny didn't have a championship game a couple of years. Had some, just years where things weren't run very well. And I think Kenny was just maybe tired. I'm tired right now from doing this.
Yeah.
So I just think, it maybe was a thing that he was kind of done with. And another league started in Beaumont. I'm not going to say names because I don't want to be unfair to people and I don't want to call people out. But another league started in Beaumont at the municipal complex on College Street. We eventually jumped and went to that league. The Herd did. When I say we, I mean my team, the Herd. So we played in that league. It was great. They had a website with the games that the winners and losers. They had a lot of stuff that I, took from them to start our league with that I really liked how they did. They were much more organized. They had consistent referees. They even put pictures online sometimes. They had real awards for winners.
MVPs, all that stuff.
They made it fun. And even when it was muddy and gross, they would do fun things like call it the Mud Bowl and do fun stuff like that. Yeah. It was fun for a few years. But much like Kenny's league, it became a bit complacent. It started its decline whenever we would come to play whatever team we were scheduled to play, and they would not show up, so we would end up playing the same teams over and over again.
I remember playing the same put-together team like 4 or 5 weeks in a row.
4 weeks in a row, and those games counted. And once those games counted, we went to the playoffs, which in their league was a double elimination tournament. And in the double elimination tournament, every team made the tournament, so the regular season really didn't mean much. Now, all that said, it didn't really make a difference because flag football was still fun. It was still fun to go out and play, and it was even comical to make fun of the asinine nature of the regular season. Not to say that the guy was doing a bad job running it, just it was kind of funny. But in the spring of 2015, or in their winter league is what they call it, we played a game against a team, I don't even remember their names. They were wearing black jerseys, and they were from, I believe
it was a Port Arthur team. I think that's what their name was. They actually were just called Port Arthur.
The Port Arthur team played us, the Herd, in the in the playoffs of the 2015 Winter League. It was a really close, competitive game. Everybody played hard, and tensions were at a fever pitch, if I may say so. So at the time, our quarterback was Noah Cole, and toward the end of the game, or at least in the second part of the second half, Noah scored a touchdown
to take the lead
in this game. Once Noah scored the touchdown, a player from that team came up and hit Noah in the ribs so hard that it fractured a couple of his ribs, we found out later.
In the back of the end zone. He had run all the way to the back of the end zone by this time.
He had run all the way through the end zone, and this person had hit him in the ribs and fractured his ribs. So, in defense of Noah, another guy from our team pushed the guy who had hit Noah off of him. Well, that caused a lot of pushing and, the normal thing you kind of see when things are getting testy. At no point did anyone step in that was running the league? Well, while this was all happening, Troy, the fella sitting across me right now, wasn't involved in anything and was actually moving slightly away from what was happening.
I was just walking because the play had ended, and that was just a part of the field I was on. I'm just still kind of walking in the end zone, like just as my normal movement would be at any point of the game when a play like that.
Now, I know that you guys probably listening to this know Troy. You know that people tend to be irritated with him from time to time over whatever. So I think, thank you. I think one of the people on the other team saw an opportunity, and they did what to you, Troy?
Started swinging at my head and face and whatever they could hit. And my reaction was to first try to put my hands out to keep distance from him, and then just duck and get out of the way. Just try to get down until somebody can get him off of me. That was it. I had no opportunity to be offensive in that exchange.
So Troy ducked, and the guy hit Troy in the face. I think 17 times is what I've counted before. I've watched that video a million times. And then Troy got hit in the face a bunch of times. And a couple of guys from my team, Corey Bruno and I, went to assist Troy and try to pull this guy off of him. So Corey was pushing the guy's body. I grabbed him around the neck, and we eventually pulled the guy off of Troy.
Cody got him in a headlock and got him off of me immediately. That guy was off of me, and I could get up and kind of got myself distanced just to gather myself. And that should have been the end of it.
So after I got this guy off Troy, I let go of him because I don't want to hurt anybody, you know. I'm not trying to choke somebody out or anything. I mean, I'm by no means an MMA fighter. But I got the guy off of Troy with the help of Corey, and I let go of him. Well, then I started feeling people punch me on the back of the head, so I covered up. And then I felt someone with something sharp kick me in the back of the head. And that hurt. That hurt a lot.
And the fella that kicked Cody in the back of the head was the same guy that hit Noah in his ribs at the very beginning that started all this.
Yes, and so, you know, that hurt a lot. Aaron eventually pushed the guy off of me. I got to get up. So once I got up, I realized that I was bleeding from the back of my head. I kind of wanted to know who made me start bleeding so badly since I hadn't really done anything. And I went to ask the guy who was running the league for the roster, you know, the players' names on the other team, because my mom was actually at the game and had videoed it. My son was at the game and actually had seen it happen. And he was like, let's see, 2012. He was 6 or 7 then. So I didn't really think it was right for...
It was 2015.
Oh. 2015? So, okay, he was like 8.
Yeah.
Forget how old people are. So, you know, I didn't think it was right for all of that to have occurred in front of my friends and family, and to have occurred at all, even if it was in a vacuum. So I wanted to file charges like a normal human being, I would think. But the guy running the league told me he didn't keep up with rosters. I asked him if he would fill out a witness statement to the police as to what happened. He said he wouldn't. And then, you know, I had to do a lot of digging to find out who kicked me in the back of the head with their cleats. Now, you would think after a big fight like that, the game would be over. Somehow, you could have both teams forfeit or one team forfeit, or you could just say this game's over and do something else. Coin flip or put in a different team. I don't care. No, game kept going. So that game continued while I was on the sidelines calling the police, talking to my mom, you know, wiping off the blood from the back of my head. That game continued. The guy who had hit Troy all those times and the guy who had cleated me in the back of the head had left. I couldn't find out who they were. You know, there was no justice. There was no penalty really at that time, other than they couldn't play flag football anymore that day. So that left me feeling very unsafe and empty about the flag football league. You know, I wanted to go out there, snap a ball, and trot places because I'm not fast, and maybe catch a pass in the middle for 4 yards. That's all I really wanted to do that day. You know, I didn't sign up to get in a fight with people. I didn't sign up to pull people off with somebody that, you know, during a fight. I just wanted to play football. I was, you know, 30-something years old, have a career. I really wasn't in it for the fighting. And that's what made me think, I can't do this anymore. There has to be a better way to play flag football. And that's what made SETX FFL become a league, if you wanted to point to one moment in history. So that is the summary of what had happened on that day to make SETX FFL a thing.
And I've got a little side note, because we've been called a lot of names. The few of us that run the board and run the league and have a lot of input, we've been called a lot of names, especially recently. And if we were such bad people that we get called names, we get called these things, and that people think we're such bad, you know, irresponsible, not irresponsible, but just lean to one side, if that's what they think we are. The guy that stomped on Cody's head is playing in our league now. If we were so hateful and all these things, would we allow him to play in our league? No, we want him to play because, hey, this is for everybody. You know, yeah, you did something stupid and got in trouble for it, but you're still allowed to play. If we were as hateful as everyone says we are, would we allow that guy to play? No.
Right. And I'm not an unfair person. I know people make mistakes. I'm not even mad about it. However, if you don't learn from stuff that happens to you, isn't there like a history thing where you don't learn from things, you repeat it and things like that? Okay. So if I let my league go the same way as the league that I played in before, what good am I really doing? Does anybody listening to this want to play in a league where you're afraid that there's going to be a fight break out any minute? Do you want to play in a place where you're afraid that if there is a fight, we'll just continue the games and not care about you? Do you want to play in a place where we have no, you know, recompense and, you know, consequences for horrible, bad behavior? No, I don't think anyone legitimate wants to be a part of that. So when things happen in our league, when people get in fights and games have to be forfeited, like the Jack Boys had happen to them not a few weeks ago, you must understand that we can't let these games go on. We can't let these things happen. We must stop the game, and the result has to be that the team who was offending forfeits the game. And that's just how it has to be for the safety of everyone involved and for the continuance of our league.
Yeah.
It's not based on it's not based on your skill as a flag football player. It's not based on how you look. It's not based on how I feel about you personally. It's merely based on player safety and the fact that we will not have our league turn into something that it wasn't designed to be, where people feel unsafe to go play flag football on their Sunday for fun.
And if we have fights and we have the cops called out to stop it, that we're on a school campus. We will not be playing anymore there. Then you have to find somewhere else to play. That would be the end of that. It's simple. It's simple. Just get through the game and move on to the next.
Yeah, and you know, I've gotten several text messages and stuff over the last few days about rules and other teams that have violated certain rules, that technically whatever should happen, they should forfeit and everything else. Look, I have never, ever been one to try to make a team take a forfeit or anything like that. So I'm not going to start doing that. I'm going to run my league in a reasonable way. I'm going to be transparent. We're going to have everything go through the board so that they can vote on it. And you know what? If the board votes, in a way that I don't like, I will go by what they vote for and enforce it. So, you know, as of right now, we're not going to go look for ways for other teams to forfeit, to try to finagle our way into making a playoff that is succinct with someone else's view of how things should be in the world. No, we're going to do things the right way. The right way is, if you fight, your team gets a forfeit, and you're just going to have to take it. And you can play in our league or you can not play in our league. I don't care. Just understand that we're not going to tolerate that behavior. If you bring drugs to the field, you're not going to play in our league. If you can't comply with our rules on, I don't know, decent behavior toward other human beings, you can't play in our league. We don't have anything against any of you. But if you want to make it an us versus them thing and make us your enemy, start your own league.
Please, yeah.
Go away and do whatever you want to do, because you're not going to ruin what I've started. That's it. I'll snap my fingers 3 times and wiggle my head a little bit and say, and that's it.
I mean, yeah, I don't even. I couldn't say anything else that would make it any, better or worse or whatever. Just
well, go ahead.
no.
I can't be more clear.
Yeah.
If you don't like how I'm doing things, go start your own league. Go video your own games. Go put them on YouTube yourself. Go do your podcast. Go have pictures taken. Go have people's shirts made and their little all-star things made and everything else.
And the championship belt.
And go have your own championship belt made. Be my guest. But I'll tell you what, you won't do as well as I can, and you won't do as well as our league can, and we'll keep being the best league around. And go try it. Suck it. That's all I got.
And show up on time for your games.
Yes, and show up on time for your games. Pay the refs.
8 of the 9 teams show up on time for their games.
Pay the refs. Money for refs.
Damn right. Good luck.
I don't have anything else. Bye.